PubNub is a real-time messaging platform where we power basically we provide all the solutions that your game needs to build really any kind of like online features that you would need. So for example, we do like on and offline detection, like presence. We do multiplayer synchronization, so like player actions, player movement, player fighting, things like that, as well as even like in-game chat. So for example, Embark, the finals, they actually use us for their skill-based matchmaking. So they use our presence online offline detection. They use skill-based matchmaking, it's been a long day. Skill-based matchmaking to be able to help find other players and actually group them together up in lobbies and other games. So that's kind of a little bit about PubNub, but today I'm here to kind of talk about some of the issues our customers have been facing. So one of these issues is that really taking action on real-time data is typically reactive and it's not any fault of their own. It's a hard thing to do, right? You can't really react in time because by the time you do, that data is usually outdated. You don't have time to act upon that real-time data coming in, and even if you do, it's difficult to even really kind of get that data out the door to your players, right? Because you have to go through those patch cycles. You have to do in-house testing. You have to actually create the patch. You have to push the patch out, and especially through consoles, that's even longer. So there's a lot of different kind of issues that go into trying to experiment live, right? Where you're trying to adjust these values, and it's just not working. Data and time does not stop for you. So we actually announced a new product actually this morning, called PubNub Illuminate. So PubNub Illuminate is this in-the-moment decision-making and actionability solution based on live events analytics tracking of your online game data. So kind of what does that mean? So really these live ops teams, they can actually map data that's coming in from external systems or through PubNub, and they're actually able to create these condition tables where they can map the data to conditions, and if it satisfies a condition, it will execute various actions based on these conditions. So you could do such a thing as like publishing a message to your game. You can ban that user if they're being naughty or something. There's a lot of different kind of variability you can do out there. So, and the point of this is to really help get developers out of kind of this experimentation phase where, for example, you want to adjust the price of an in-game item in your store. They don't have to go into the game and actually update that anymore. This can be all left with the live ops teams. They can focus on game features, and the live ops teams can actually do this iterative kind of approach where they can adjust the prices in real time through this like web UI. They don't have to touch the code. So it gives more power to the live ops teams, as well as keeps the developers happy because they can focus on what they actually want to do. So how does Illuminate kind of actually work? So first you need to pick where your data source is actually coming from. So you can either do it through PubNub or you can do it through your own infrastructure. So PubNub is meant to be very flexible. If you have your own infrastructure, you don't have to completely rework it to use Illuminate, which is pretty cool. So second, really, it's kind of defining your data. This is the only step developers actually are needed because they understand how your infrastructure works, how it's powering those kind of messages that are being sent across the network. So they need to map the data to the data source to be captured in Illuminate. So this could be anything from like player level, quests, shop item prices, really whatever you would like. Step 3 is visualizing this data. So you can actually visualize this data in charts and in various aspects and dashboards where you can actually segment your data so you can actually graph and look at what you would like to see. Step 4 is putting your data to work. So this is where you define the conditions, where I kind of talked about this kind of conditioning table, where you can define these conditions, and if the data is satisfying that condition, it will execute various actions on this data. So like I said earlier, like publishing a message to your game, banning a user, basically whatever you would like to do. And then step 5 is really just kind of, after you've done this, you can kind of visualize these changes, you can make adjustments accordingly, and really kind of have this like experimentative approach to being able to manage your data. So I kind of talked about the what, the why, and the how of Illuminate, but let's kind of take a look at a couple different sample use cases that might actually apply to your own game. So first of all, adjusting in-game prices. Perhaps you've noticed that players haven't really been purchasing that much money on some of the items in your in-game shop. So you could use Illuminate to actually adjust those prices without bothering your developers to make those changes, pushing them out, and then having your players update those changes. Second, perhaps you've maybe found a series of side quests aren't even being used because maybe perhaps players are finding it's easier to level up by grinding on monsters. So you can adjust the quest rewards, such as like doubling the amount of experience, giving rare items, or even like, really anything you'd like. Also, you could do things such as like gameplay balancing. So perhaps you've dropped some new weapons, some new characters, some new items, and it's a little too much, a little too overpowered. So normally you'd have your players go onto Reddit, they'd be angry, probably me included for some things. But now you can actually adjust that in real time. So perhaps maybe you want to do like maybe not a full over like balancing using Illuminate, but what you can do is you can adjust that completely, and then you can have some more thorough testing within your balancing team within your own game. Totally up to you. Then for fraudulent activity detection, perhaps you've noticed some of your players are using third-party tools to cheat and exploit. Kind of like, for example, if you see like an unusually large number of like transactions, you can use Illuminate to detect that, send that user ID to a webhook, for example, to an external system, or you can even outright ban that user from your game. You can ban them from accessing any online services within your game, or really, even completely locking them out. And more. So, that was what, like 4 or 5 different examples? You guys are a lot smarter than I am, so I'm sure you can think of some more ideas. Maybe you have some ideas you're already thinking of right now. I'd love to hear them if you want to come talk to me about them later on. But this is just kind of like, 5 more that I actually just kind of thought on the top of my head that you might actually like to implement for your own game. So at demo time, so hopefully the demo gods are kind to me today, and we'll be running a in-person demo. So for this next page, if anyone would like to participate, they're welcome to scan this companion app on the right-hand side of their screen. So when you scan that code, you'll be brought to a very simple web app. On the left-hand side, it's just a companion application that I built to help trigger some more complicated functionality. So for example, buying 100 coins. If you click that, it's going to purchase 100 coins, which is just the in-game currency for my game. I didn't want to have to sit there and click on a button 100 times to actually trigger that functionality. Similarly, if you click on Finish Game, it will finish a game, grant the player a coin, and give them a discount code in the actual in-game shop. Equipping a random hat, I found my players were not equipping cosmetic items before they joined a game, so I want to reward them by giving them a discount code for joining this game. We'll get to gameplay adjustments in a little bit, but if we go to the dashboard, that's not the dashboard. That's also not the dashboard. 1 second, sorry guys. Oh, it's because I'm in full screen, there we go. All right, so in Illuminate, you can visualize all the data that's actually coming in. So if I actually had it open, that would be good. So professional of me. Oh no. the demo gods are not kind today. Okay, so essentially what you can do is you can visualize this data that's coming in live. Looks like I'm having some internet connection issues, which is really odd. It's the Wi-Fi. Okay. The demo gods are not kind today. So essentially, if you saw like a little like sneak peek, you can actually visualize the data that's coming in. So whenever you trigger that Illuminate functionality, you can see it graphed, you can see it lived based on the different segments and dimensions. That's just what we call the different data that's coming in. And once that does trigger and meet those conditions, I don't think I refreshed the one page. Yes. So for example, if you click that button to buy 100 coins, you can actually tell, hey, okay, once it's met that condition of buying 100 coins, let's make the in-game like coin bundles 10% cheaper, just because you want to reward those players. Maybe that's a little too much. Maybe you want to tone that down to about 5%. Maybe you want to increase that percentage adjustment accordingly for the rest of those sums of those coins purchased. So it's really up to you. It's meant to be experimentative. You're supposed to iterate and really adjust your strategy based on viewing the data within the graph itself. So I did have another demo to kind of show off the gameplay adjustment sides of things, but we need internet for that, so I am not going to show that. However, I do have recorded videos, so you guys are welcome to go to like the PubNub channel, or come talk to me and I'll show you at the little side booth over there or at our GDC booth. So let me go ahead and go back to this. Cool. So I kind of talked about like live ops team members actually utilizing Illuminate, but really it can be really anyone. For example, I'm in DevRel, I used to be a developer, so I set this all up myself. And for me, the goal is great. I don't have to make a lot of different changes. to these kind of like low-level like testing functionality or monetization updates, I can just help map this out and give it to someone else. That's the kind of ideal world. However, really it's for like live ops teams, monetization teams, gameplay balance adjustments, where they can get that power to actually do that themselves, adjust it in real time without having to bother their developers to go ahead and do that. So, what's already great is that today is the first day we're announcing Illuminate. However, we already have some of our customers using it. Beamable, for example, they found really good success with actually trialing out Illuminate by acting on some of those decisions based on the data that's coming in. So it's really cool. So that's about it. Sorry about the demo, guys. I was really kind of hoping to show that off, but unfortunately, it's not going to work. So it's going to be a little bit of a faster kind of talk today. But if you'd like to check out PubNub, go ahead and scan the QR code on the left-hand side. You can just take a picture of this if you'd like, if that's a little easier for you guys. Or if you'd like to learn more about Illuminate, scan the QR code on the right side. We're going to be at GDC, so we were there today. We're in the South building. Number 1364, so kind of on the left-hand side towards the middle. Come say hi, come get some really cool swag. We have some Illuminati-themed swag, so come check that out. So it's really cool. And yeah, and socials, if you're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to learn more, or check out our PubNub social links. So that's really about it. Fast talk, but if there's any questions, feel free to ask them. Thank you.